It's Monday. It's your girl Candy K. Lynn, and it's 6 o'clock. So it's time to pull up. Every Monday here on DFWIRadio.com, we talk sports, news, and hip hop. We don't talk about people, we just simply talk about the headlines. Guys, it is another Monday, and we thank you for joining us. Today, the show is we are full of NBA talk. It is NBA playoff time. And I know you guys see me talking to myself. Mr. Shaw is on his way. He is a few minutes behind. And we are getting into the conversation about the NBA playoffs, the teams that are remaining. We will cover what's going on with the Brooklyn Nets now that, Mr. Shaw just walked in the building, guys.
Told you down the street, man.
Mr. Shaw is 601. I had to get the show right.
Get it going,
What's going on, Mr. Shaw?
I'm not too much worried about Candy K. Lynn. I gotta pay these bills. You got baby.
You're not worried about me. Wait, I didn't ask you to worry about Mr. Shaw. You came in with the jokes. That's how you pulling up late.
I just do what I do.
I mean, yikes! Like, is you gonna give me some money? Because I need some money.
I don't know. Cash App, I always be having problems when I get here. Every time.
You notice that?
Every time I get here.
Doing it pending.
Yeah.
I mean, you could Cash App me. I think my Cash App gonna work just fine. Send me some money.
I can't help you, man.
You can't help me.
Mm-mm.
That's gonna be my response to you when you want me to be the nanny. Okay, I'm gonna be like, I can't help you, sir.
I got some money, man.
I can't be the nanny. I can't be the nanny for free, sir. Run me my change.
Hey, girl, who? You already asked for a private jet.
I mean, that's in the making. That's not here yet. We're not there yet. You're working on that.
Saw somebody when folks looking at I be in my sleep. All I hear is private jet. Talk to me in my sleep. Like, nah, come on, man.
As long as you hear it in your sleep, if you continue to hear it in your sleep, eventually you're gonna make our dreams come true. Hold on. Oh, excuse me, guys.
Calm down. I get you, because God was like, with that man. You messing with that man.
Mr. Shaw, I don't know what's going on with my Facebook. I cannot, for whatever reason, it is not letting me tag you or I in order to get this conversation like really jumping with the people, because these are important conversations that we're having right now because it is in NBA playoff time. Why did I say NFL?
I don't know.
I think it's because we were talking about
the NFL. Growing up, I'm a football player. It's not as exciting as basketball. I don't care how nobody slices. You giving me 7 games. I got 7 games to bet on, make money. That's better. NBA better. It give me more ways to make money.
I think you just want to gamble, and so does the NBA now because
my lineup.
I think you just like gambling now. I don't know. When did you become that guy?
I got a little money. You get a little money, you gotta make more money.
Tell me about it. I need some money.
Okay, Vegas.
I need to hit, right? I need to hit. Like,
I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see where I need to go in the casino to find where I can bet on the game. Like, let me put a look. Like, if I win something like that, cause I'm only blackjack. I'm blackjacking while we out there. I'm not touching the slots. I'm blackjack.
I'm scared to blackjack. I've never done it before.
No.
I'm scared to waste my money.
You always split 8s and 7s. You split 8s and 7s every time. You get an 8 or a 7, you split it.
Can I start at $5? Like, can I sit down and play with $5?
I don't know what I was gonna start at 10. I won't go more than 10. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so maybe I'll play one hand because sometimes you gotta go big to win, and I need some extra cash.
You see where it said FanDuel? Like, bro, you go and you pick players, right? Like, you get $60,000. You gotta, and it's different ways to set up, but it'd be like boom, 5 players, and you get $60,000 to pick your players, and then it'd be for their game. So, boom, Philly on the night. Philly versus. Right. I'm gonna go get Joel. I'm gonna get Trae Young. And then, your money starts to dwindle down because you got 2 big players right there. But it's a hit or miss. Like, you got to learn. But what I also realized on FanDuel is you can't start with $100 and hit. You got to put money in. But it's gambling. You got to put money into it to get something back. So,
right.
But as far as the playoffs go, I really blew money on the Phoenix series because I didn't want to be, Devin Booker gone. The hardest part about betting on Kentucky players is to not ride with them every game. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't ride with Devin. I lost money to Devin thinking he gonna go to Denver. You know, he ain't been there. You know what I'm saying? He ain't been. He really. This is Devin Booker's first time in the playoffs, right? You take Devin Booker away from the Phoenix Suns, they're nobody, right?
Right.
Now, the one thing we could say on pull up, I've been preaching Devin Booker, true or false. This series would have been a lot better if Jamal Murray would have been playing. It would have been we would have went 7. It would have been a dogfight, but Denver would have won because they've been there before. You know what I'm saying? Like you took away what I realized. Okay, I had an argument. Aaron Gordon was not worth the 3 people you traded him for. Because anybody who can't go get you and guarantee 20 plus points, you shouldn't be trading 3 players for. You don't trade 3 players for defense, right? I'm not trading you.
Right.
I'm not trading you skilled guys who, if all of them average me 9, that's 18. That's 9, 18, 27 points, right? 28 points, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Gordon never getting you there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, the Nuggets ran into lack of firepower, right? Devin Booker he's not young Kobe, but he has the Kobe like one-on-one game. We ain't seen one-on-one game like Devin Booker got in a while. Like, yeah, KD got it, but Devin Booker is 6'4", big guard, and no matter who you put on him, he gonna get a bucket on him. So like this next series, Utah or the Clippers, I feel like they're in trouble because Chris Paul is confident.
So let's talk about that, right? So since we started with the Phoenix series versus Denver, the game yesterday, Jokic is the MVP. He was this season's league MVP because he was productive. He carried the team when his superstar went down. He was healthy, unlike everybody else who was in the running for the MVP conversation. So he is the league's MVP. In the process of being the league's MVP yesterday, on a lazy foul, he was ejected from the game. Right? And I think that
you think he deserved to be ejected?
I think it was a lazy foul. I do not think it deserved an ejection. I think that as a former basketball player, and no, I've never played at that level, right? Mm-hmm. People get that confused. But as an athlete, there are certain things that people who sit in the stands, you sit in the stands. Because you've never been through the rigorousness of practice. You don't understand the game from the perspective that we understand the game. It's just different. That was a lazy foul on his part. But in my opinion, he went for the basketball. So I understand the idea and the intent to protect the players. I feel like that is necessary. That's needed. I get it. But at the same time, those type of plays switch the momentum in a game.
I feel the same way. You can't.
That's a game changer. It's a game changer. You can't do that.
Who else is gonna manufacture? That's you taking assist away. You taking
MVP of the year. You can't eject the MVP.
I mean, and I think that I don't know, and I think that's the reason why people like me wholeheartedly believe in the fixes.
Is Kirk here? Okay, Kirk not here. Kirk is heavy that they won't finish the win, but I don't see why. Why
because the league, but you know what? Every time that there's not, they do what they do for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. You look at how many fans were there. I don't know, whatever it is. But he and I did chime in on his post yesterday, and I was a little bit surprised that Jokic, of all people, your white male MVP was ejected. And that switched the momentum. Phoenix went on a complete run after that. Like, it was done after that ejection. It was not intentional. He went over and apologized afterwards. So you know.
It's frustrating. I mean,
but that's what stars do, right? Jokic
because that's
the technicals.
Right. I'm not supposed to. That's your teammate. You got to say something.
Right. But it wasn't a situation, and I think that the new NBA rules have created that, where the rest of us are sitting back going, what was that? Like, literally, it was a lazy foul. It did not deserve an ejection, in my personal opinion. Because that was it. He went for the ball.
You on your way against Swift. You had an MVP season, and you looking at the locker room saying, damn, if I had Jamal. Right? Like, but you don't.
Or what else do I need to do? Like, what else could I have done? You know, as an athlete, you say to yourself, what else could I have done to switch this series? There was nothing else he could do. He played MVP quality even in the playoffs. Like, there was nothing else he could do. And as you said, he was frustrated. That's what happens. Players get frustrated. We want to see the raw emotion. That's why we fall in love with them, or that's why we hate them, right? Mm-hmm. Go back to a 36-year-old. I agree. Regardless, excuse me, refs are never supposed to decide the game. 36-year-old Chris Paul, right? Chris Paul had a hell of a series. He had a great game last night. Those are the things that we want to see. We do not want to see the officials, making decisions like that shifted the momentum. Mm-hmm. Am I going to sit here and say Denver was going to win a game? I don't know. But we know that with the ejection, it was done. There was no way Denver had a chance of winning after you ejected their best player at this point, mm-hmm. and the MVP for the season. So I think that that's a conversation that people will continue to have, because it always looks suspect at that. Had he slapped somebody, had he slapped Devin Booker, had he pushed Devin Booker down, we would have said he deserved it, right? We're talking about a clean play on the ball that led to this.
On a clean,
I mean, a lazy defensive play by him, but a clean play on the ball. And with that, Phoenix sweeps the series 4-0. They're headed to the Western Conference Final. They are waiting on the winner of the Utah and Clippers series. Clippers are down 2-1. Paul George was able to put together a Paul George type game, and this is what we've been talking about. We don't know what Paul George we're going to get. The Clippers don't know what Paul George they're going to get.
That's not an attractive statement.
To me, Kawhi is exhausted at the end of 4.
But you know what the crazy thing is? They can win this game tonight.
I don't think the Clippers are out of it. But I don't think the Clippers have what it takes to be NBA champions either. I don't think that team has what it takes to get there. I just don't. I don't think he has enough. And like I said, we cannot have the streaky, inconsistent play of Paul George. That is going to be what determines what happens in that series.
Everybody needs 2 superstars to win. I don't care how people slice it. I don't care how people want to talk about it. Dirk Nowitzki is the only person in the past 25 years that has won a championship and didn't have another star. Kobe Bryant did win, but Paul Gasol was all-star level.
Yeah.
All-star level.
I agree.
Bynum was still young and up and coming, so he had talent around him with an older Lamar Odom. Like he had
Sixth man of the year
around him. You know what I'm saying?
And coaching, right? And that's what it's gonna come down to as we shift to the Eastern Conference. And we're watching yesterday. I don't know if y'all saw KD, but who's Donovan Mitchell?
I ran the first 2 games. Like I lost money on him too. Who's Donovan? Rudy Gobert
is
look
defensively.
Say that when you win,
and offensively he does what he needs to do.
Year, right.
Yeah.
First of all, my personal opinion, Rudy Gobert is garbage. He subpar at best. You a big man with no offensive game. You subpar at best. But defensively, he's won almost 3 defense. He's Rudy Gobert, Hall of Famer.
What wins championships? Rudy Gobert
is a Hall of Famer, huh?
What wins championships?
Defense. But
and you only need those small pieces, right? That's the thing. If you can manufacture that defensive star, right? We think back to Dennis Rodman. What did Dennis Rodman do his whole entire career? This is a league that's high-powered offense. Mm-hmm. That's what we're seeing right now is a high-powered offensive NBA. And we talked about this last week as we transitioned to Brooklyn. What did I say we needed to do to Brooklyn? Shut down the scoring. Now, as we say that, all you need is a piece. All these teams need is a superstar and another subpar star, right? To be a star when the lights come on. Gobert is not going to get you 25 and 25. Okay? He's not going to get you 25, 10, and 10. But if he can make defensive plays like he has throughout the series at the end of the game, blocking shots, getting rebounds, those are the things that you need to change the flow of the game. We've seen that with a Draymond Green as well. Brooklyn needs their superstars back there in trouble because Kevin Durant cannot do it by himself.
And the other ones couldn't do it by themselves.
He can't. But like yesterday, you saw the frustration in his face. You saw the quit by the end of the third quarter. Like, Kyrie went down yesterday on this was a sneaker to sneaker. Like, he came down on top of Giannis's foot and rolled his ankle. And you would have thought by his facial expressions that, I don't know, it was way worse than a high ankle sprain. And I've had high ankle sprain. They hurt. Don't get me wrong. But I think Kyrie is Kyrie at this point.
Kyrie might be the biggest prima donna in the NBA.
At this point. And James Harden has a hamstring issue. He's still hurt. Kevin Durant.
They lose.
Yeah, they lost. It's 2-2 in that series.
No, I said if they lose,
I think the team breaks up.
I know they lost money on them. Right?
Yeah.
I know they lost, right? Like, I feel like if Kyrie not healthy, I'm loading up on the Bucks. I'm gonna put a quick little 2 on the Bucks. You know
somebody has to be healthy. Kyrie or James Harden has to play in this series in order for Brooklyn to win. Period. Because my issue with, and like I said, this is a team versus players shaking their head. Blake Griffin, right? We talked about what Gobert does in there with the Jazz, right? Mm-hmm. He does the little stuff. He does the little stuff defensively. Blake Griffin laid down yesterday too. Like, sorry, I need you to get 15 boards, at least 10. I need you to be a 10-10 guy at this point. James Harden is out. Kyrie is out. You got to be a 10-10 guy. Minimum. You need to be a 20-10 guy. He just, for me, it's in their face. If you go back and I wish I had some clips from yesterday. Like, I wish I was advanced enough to like get those in the show. Their faces for me was just like, get them out of here. And then it goes back to the coaching aspect that we're talking about. Steve Nash got a superstar built team. But this is going to come down to coaching. When you have to make adjustments in your lineup. When you got to find ways.
College basketball coach Cat. The one thing he's a great coach. He has talent. It ain't easy to coach a whole lot of talent. Because you got to blend mindset. What we'll give Steve Kerr, he was able to make it work.
He was. But see, Steve Nash now has to manage a team minus those superstars. You have to manage KD's minutes differently. You have to manage Blake's minutes differently. You have to put together a rotation that can compete with Milwaukee. You now need to stop Giannis because you're not stopping the ball with Giannis. When Giannis has open court. Well, Chris Middleton is going to beat you, right? There's going to be times like yesterday at the end of the third quarter when he drops the buzzer beater, he's falling back because he's like a weird, great athlete. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you see him, you don't see that in him, but when you line up against him, they know it's coming. There's nothing you can do about some of the things that he does. It just comes down to pure athleticism, right? But Middleton and Giannis can't beat you. And the bench.
And the bench.
Now Steve Nash has to maneuver these pieces. This is now a game of chess. This is when Giannis is out breathing, can I get KD? I need KD on the floor. Okay? I need to stretch the floor with KD when they're minus their big that, he can run the floor. When Giannis and Lopez are in the game, what can I do to spread out the floor? Mm-hmm. Can I get one-on-one matchups so that KD can go to the basket? KD did not settle for mid-range jumpers. He went to the basket. But we know one thing from Kevin Durant, when his shot is off, right? He has to, what'd you say?
Was off. Game 3, his shot was off.
His shot was off, right? They're a team that can let it go. You don't have your additional scores. So now all the focus is in on him. I don't have to guard anybody else. I don't have to guard Blake Griffin. I don't have to guard their second string shooters.
They just make Kevin Durant a facilitator at this point. Get the ball out of his hand. That's what they did.
But that's all but that's where Steve Nash's coaching
there was a
has
point
to
in the third quarter where you feel like, dang, he can take the game off. I
never felt that.
We have money on the he started, but they Chris Middleton and Giannis was like, nah, we're finna slow roll you. Even with that, when my fantasy league, I would have hit yesterday. I would have made a lot of money. Kyrie got hurt. I've been having things happen in fantasy that I can't control. Jokic got put out the game.
But that's what happens with gambling.
You know what I'm saying? It's part of the bet. You can't control that. You just got.
But it's the same thing with the game, right? As a coach, right? You go in and you look at your starting lineup when you decide that you're going to gamble. And you have to go with the lineup that's in front of you. And that's what we're going to see with Steve Nash at this point. What can you do with this lineup that's in front of you? Because you don't have Harden.
Nico Harris not hitting.
He's not. And it happens, right? But then Kevin Durant went on a Twitter rant the other day. Don't compare me to Giannis and don't compare me in the conversation of the great. Yeah. And what happens? Giannis is going to slowly beat him quietly. He's not going to talk back. He's going to quietly come for everything because now you've also, everybody's also questioning whether he's overrated.
Who, Giannis?
Everybody's saying Giannis is overrated. He can't do it in the playoffs. So everybody hears the chatter. It's also what you do with it at this point. If KD, former finals MVP and scoring champ, can't win one by himself, he can't be considered a top 20 all time. I don't like those conversations. I don't think that because they can't win by themselves, that takes them out of the conversation. Your greatness is your greatness. We've got to respect the fact that
is he still gonna be top 5 greatest scorers of all time? Nobody put the ball in the bucket like Kevin Durant do. Melo is the only one we've seen before. Like, yeah. You
can't take it from him. Yeah. So that Brooklyn, and again, what I stated last week, and I think I said it out loud. I know I said it in my house. In order for Milwaukee to beat Brooklyn, Brooklyn cannot score. They cannot score 110 points.
Mm-mm.
So if you can keep Brooklyn under 100 points, Milwaukee can win this series, right? And so then we switch our focus over to Philly and Atlanta series. The Hawks are down 2-1 in that series, right? Joel,
I put my money on Philly, but is he playing?
I didn't see where he wasn't playing today, but that's the issue, right? We know that's the difference in that Atlanta series of Atlanta getting a win and the Sixers winning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we know that's the difference. I don't know if he's a game time decision, but if he wants it, now is his chance. I haven't seen anything pop up that he wasn't playing.
No. So before normally I don't really like to bet until before the game, but we on air and I might forget, I might miss something. But they had D&D by his name. Not D&D, but to be determined.
Game time decision.
It's a game time decision. So when you bet, that's one of the things you look at all the time. You normally go pick for me, right? Depending on how I look at rosters, I look at teams, right? And I try to take home teams when they at home, depending on the momentum. That's why I took Denver 2 games. Like, all right, man, they're going to fight, even though without Jamal Murray. I don't want to put it all on, Denver going to run through them. So for me, when I look at it, it's what player's healthy. You know what I'm saying? Who's playing? How does he work with the lineup? Watching them throughout the season. So, you got to be heavy on paying attention to players when you putting your money on. But I do feel like it's open. It's back to being wide open. Brooklyn made it seem like they were just so far ahead of everybody if they're healthy.
But we know that's what it comes down to, right? And we know that. And and Milwaukee should have tasted blood yesterday. It should be on the tip of their tongue. And right now, what you do is you go in for the kill. And that's just the reality. That's just the reality of it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, that Philly Atlanta game has a 7:30 tip off Eastern time. So they're starting that game in 5 minutes. I don't see where Joel is out.
Okay, well, that's good for me.
As of right now. So, internet, we may need to catch pregame because they do all kinds of things at the start, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these matchups have been, fairly close for the most part. But Philly is the better team in this. They're the better team. Doc Rivers has more experience, and a Philly Milwaukee matchup changes the way we've looked at the Eastern Conference in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna get more exciting. I think personally, this may be one of the, because I'm lukewarm on this finals period. I don't.
It's a passing of the torch.
It's a what?
It's a passing of the torch. The younger generation are proving that they deserve respect.
I mean, they deserve respect, but I don't think that we're getting. I think that we're getting good games, right? I think we're seeing what happens in a league where there's a superstar and then there's role players. Because without Brooklyn's, without Kyrie and James Harden, Brooklyn is just like anybody else. And that's what we're seeing. There may be a star or two, but these are not superstar-studded teams. It depends on whose bench comes to play of what amount of action we're going to get in these series. And I think that's what it comes down to.
That's heavy. Listen, bench play is always heavy in you don't win without great bench play. Right?
Correct.
Great role players, great bench play. You need that to win games. To win the championship. So my thing is we're getting to see teams like the Suns. Devin Booker is getting to put the whole world on notice of who he is.
Right? All right, and that jumper is nice. It's nice. I
call him shooter.
As they said,
I just call him shooter.
Like that game, the Chris Paul mid-range jumper. Like if Chris Paul put on a point guard clinic for point guards, right? So there was a post that I sent to you today about which 3 guards had to go, right? So there was that post of which guards have to go. Chris Paul put on a guard clinic. Chris Paul gets inside. He knows how to pick up the fouls. He shoots mid-range jumpers. He's old school basketball. He doesn't have the Steph Curry game. He's not popping threes. He's getting inside. He's getting to the bucket. Devin Booker is getting to play in his role as a natural too. As the shooter.
The scorer. Just go score.
What we've seen players that can get buckets. Like Kawhi is like a Tim Duncan reincarnated, right? It's like basic fundamentals. We get no excitement. But if you are a basketball player, your kids should be watching what Kawhi does. Your kids should be watching Chris Paul in the playoffs. Should be watching Devin Booker. Your bigs should be watching what Joel Embiid does. I hate to see Jokic and Joel Embiid shoot threes. I know the league has changed. But I would prefer to see Giannis style. Giannis gets up the court.
He just can't shoot.
He doesn't have to. He puts up 34 points. Now think about what it does to his game, as I was arguing yesterday. What does it do for Giannis' game if he gets that mid-range jumper? What type of trouble are you in then?
It's hard to do anything with.
He runs the court. Like that's what he does. He plays a half-court game. He runs the court. He trails on, like yesterday on the alley-oop that he caught. Like, he trails as he's supposed to as a big.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh said, I'd say less passing of the torch and more injury-riddled. Both were.
Hand in hand. All right.
We're seeing it both ways.
All you do is play who in front of you.
And like I said, coaches have an amazing job. You have to manage your chess pieces.
Fire Frank Vogel.
Well, I think everybody agrees to that. But what we're going to do right now here on Pull Up, it is time for us to go ahead and take a quick break. We will be back after this. We have a great conversation. You know, we like to talk about cheating, dating, and, you know, swinging. So we'll be back after this break. This is your girl, Candy K. Lynn.
Your boy, Shout Time Shot.
We'll be back.